So am I right in thinking, if I got this all right, that you were born here, weren't you?
Yes.
But during apartheid times, you decided no, you didn't want to be here because of the apartheid.
Yeah, I'm sixth generation here, but when I was born, because I looked like I do and because of apartheid, people like me were required to fight in the apartheid army.
Right.
There was conscription. So that's what sent me to England. And I didn't leave because I don't love this place. I mean, look how beautiful it is.
Yeah.
I was absolutely thrilled and amazed when all the political changes happened here. And so I came back. This is an old farm. It was formally granted in 1690, which is less than 40 years after the country was colonized. So it was really when all the trouble here was beginning. And the granting, or rather I should say the stealing of these farms was, very much what the trouble was all about.
So it was like, okay, you can have that, and whoever's living there just...
Well, that's it. There have been people living here, well, literally since forever. Since there were people in this valley.
Right.
And so the granting of this farm was an absolute catastrophe for them. It was the end of their economy. It was the end of their way of life. We have an appalling history. I mean, several crimes against humanity were committed on this farm. It wasn't only the annihilation of the indigenous culture. We then brought slaves. My house was built by slaves. And then after the end of slavery, we had apartheid. So, that's all of that is, as beautiful as this environment is, we have to acknowledge that that's what these farms are also about. So when I came back to South Africa, my main ambition as far as this farm was concerned was to try to address that history, to see how can we put things to right. In the end, it boils down to ownership of the land.
Yeah.
So the solution we came to find some sort of moral compromise was I used my farm as collateral for a bank loan so that the farm workers could buy the land next to me.
Right.
And so in that way I made it possible to reverse, or at least partially reverse that history, or lay the foundations for a different sort of future. And then we formed a partnership.
Before Mark was here, we was living in very bad conditions because we have no electricity. We have our kids have to walk very far to school. We work in very bad conditions as well. We have a property on the farm.
We have an equal share in that company, and we run the two farms as a sort of joint operation. And I'm very pleased to tell you, Eddie Izzard, as you stand here, we are busy concluding a deal with the South African government whereby they're going to join us as partners too. The main thing is that they're wanting to use us as an example of the way in which we might be able to redress the land question in this country.
With this shared farm situation, they can get better education and housing situations for themselves, is that right?
Yes, their kids all go to fee-paying schools. They have private health care, which in this part of the world really matters.
Right.
We have teachers who come here, give them remedial lessons and so on. And our kids now, with the excellent education that they're getting and have been getting now for many years, they just can do anything. We have kids studying law, we have kids studying accountancy, and we're hoping that they'll come and work in managerial positions, on this farm. But of course, they can do anything they like. There's a hell of a lot that remains good and hopeful, flowing from the enormous contributions of that first generation of leaders, Nelson Mandela and the like. But there's a hell of a lot that's very worrying. Still today, there's massive disparities between white and black in South Africa. And the whites are hanging on to the assets and don't seem to feel responsible for everything that's structurally wrong here. And so I think that we need to take responsibility for our own part in all of this. And what this farm is about that. It's about what can I do to put right the wrongs of the past.
We must live in hope. I come up with a theory which is despair is the fuel of terrorism and hope is the fuel of civilization.
So here we farm wine and hope.
Yeah, very good.
Thanks, Eddie.
Thank you.